15 minutes past 9 this morning here on OTB AM. Delighted to say we're going back to Japan to talk to Niamh Briggs after a big victory at the weekend. Niamh, how are you getting on? What's it like over there?
Hi guys, yeah, it's good. 5:15 in the evening now, incredibly warm still. We trained today in mid to late 30s, I think it felt like. So yeah, look, it's obviously a beautiful. We're in Tokyo now. We've left Hamamatsu, so it's been a good few days for the squad for sure.
What's the aftermath like after a victory like that, and just the mood and general atmosphere? Because on tour, it's such different from everybody going home and you know, you win, everybody goes back, and then they come back in the middle of the week. But everybody is living like with each other at the moment. What's that like?
Yeah, look, it's a huge learning curve, I think, for everybody, especially for the players. I think, you know, you've hit the nail on the head. It's so strange for us to be still together after a match. And you definitely feel it this week. There's a lot of fatigue, I think. The ability to, you know, to back up training sessions is a big learning curve for these players in a position that, you know, it's probably the first time they've ever done this before. So from coaching elements, we've just got to be very mindful of that. But the buzz is unbelievable. Look, I think, you know, the win on Saturday was brilliant. We travelled then to Tokyo on Sunday, but we had a rest day. So, yeah, look, it's been great. They're so in. They're such a brilliant bunch to be around, to be fair. And they're working incredibly hard. So I think now there's kind of all, like already to kind of, you know, looking forward to Saturday. I think we've reviewed that Japan game from last weekend, and we have a lot of work on for sure. But I just think there's a really good buzz around the squad.
Like Niamh, you had that bit of time together as a group in the high performance centre at the IRFU this summer, and I know you would have had maybe a week's build up as well in Japan before this game. So it's hardly groundbreaking sports science for me to say preparation is key, but clearly having that time together in advance of this game paid dividends.
Yeah, it's huge. And, you know, it's not just about what we're doing on the pitch. I think it's often it's those mini conversations that the players are having together, the small conversations that you get to have with players walking down the corridor, going into breakfast or to dinner. You know, they're opening up more in relation to asking you questions about stuff they probably wouldn't do in front of the whole group or on the pitch when there's not a huge amount of time. So it's from that end, it's been unbelievable from a coaching point of view, but also from the playing group to be able to spend as much time together. And you know, it's different because you can't be, you know, bouncing off the walls all the time. There's going to be low moments and tough moments for certain players, you know, who are far away from home. They're all very young, to be fair. And so it's showing that vulnerability to each other as well, I think is going to be really key for us moving forward as a group. But you're right, look, to be having these 3 weeks together has been an unbelievable experience from every facet, from a high performance, you know, type where, you know, they're learning about recovery and they're learning about nutrition and the ability to be able to repeat efforts, but also from a rugby perspective. And then most importantly, I think for us as a group, you know, getting to know each other as people, I think that's probably been the big win.
In the end, it's a blowout victory, but you do go 15-0 down fairly early on in the match. What's the best part about the fact that you go 15-0 down and then turn that around? Like, what's the bounce from that? You know, is it the fact that the team didn't panic, that they stuck to their processes? Like, when you're reviewing that, obviously you're looking for the positives of going down. What are the positives from that?
Yeah, look, obviously there was a huge amount. I think it was the first game that we played since Six Nations, albeit with a hugely different squad. You know, 4 new caps. You've got to give them time to probably adjust to the pitch of an international test game. I think for the first few minutes there was definitely a lot of nerves, and it was shown. You know, we conceded 2 very soft tries to Japan, but I kind of felt like on the sideline that once we got our foot on the ball and we got to hold possession for a period of time, that we'd put them under pressure. I think from a coaching point of view, it was so satisfactory to see that leadership group step up and take control of that game. I think, you know, we didn't have to give a huge amount of messages from the sideline. I think they really understood the task and the process that they needed to do. On the flip of that, I think it's great this week that we have a lot of, you know, work to do. We have a lot of work on, you know, that victory. While we scored some unbelievable tries and we had some really good performances, especially from those young group players, I think, you know, coming away out of that, we realised very quickly that, you know, Japan are going to be stronger this weekend, but also that if we play like we did through periods of that match, we're going to be under severe pressure, not just against Japan, but against any other nation in the world. I think our defence at times was, you know, not sloppy. I just think that we miscommunicated things. That's a lot of work on for us, but also, we played a lot of rugby in our pitch, in our half of the pitch, when we didn't really need to do that. So, but they only learn from doing and making mistakes. And I just think that, chatting to them yesterday, and reviewing that game, I feel like that we're on a better page this week than what we were last week, which bodes well for us, I think.
I almost feel I don't really want to name drop some of the younger girls, because if you name one, you nearly have to name them all. But Niamh Daly in particular looked far older than her years, and look, the fact that she's coming from that women's development pathway as well with the IRFU, she's got the pace from the sevens as well. But she's really made a quick stride up the ranks into this Irish senior setup, and looked very, very comfortable, it has to be said, in Japan on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. Look, she's an incredibly exciting player. It's been a real pleasure to work with her over the last few weeks and get to know her better. I don't think there was any question about her rugby ability, to be fair. She's come through that underage system, and we just had to be patient. I think she spent a lot of time with the sevens. Now I think her focus is going to be mainly 15s this year. So I get to see her week in, week out, which is great, because that's what you need now. We need her to be playing consistently with our club, and performing, and then we'll reap the benefits from a national level. But look, I think it's not just, it's their hunger for knowledge. They want to get better all the time. They're looking for clarity. They're constantly, seeking affirmation, I suppose, and what they're doing is right. And you're just trying to empower them to be able to go and play what's in front of them. And like, she picked some incredible lines to begin. Her defensive work was really, really good. And look, it bodes well for her. Like, a really, really good first cap for sure. I'd imagine she's buzzing inside, and I hope those at home are buzzing for her as well. Her family and stuff have been in touch, and it's great. Look, it's great for her, and it's great for all those new caps. They've bedded into the squad really well, it just, the direction of where this program is going and where this squad can go, I think it just makes it really exciting.
I think you were, correct me if I'm wrong as well, Niamh, 23 maybe when you made your first cap against the Italians back in 08. Like, is it a case of, and you're kind of now on the other side where you're watching these young women make their first senior caps, is it a case that they're so young that the nerves just aren't there, that they're maybe not overthinking it like some of the older players are?
Yeah, maybe. It's funny when you speak to them afterwards, they're like, they've been telling you, oh God, I was really nervous. But from an exterior point of view in the dressing room beforehand, they didn't look like they were. Dan O'Brien is just finished a leaving cert, 18 years of age. Aoife Dalton's 19. These girls are, it's their training age. I made my debut at 23, but I'd probably been only playing rugby for about 8 months. These girls are 18, but they've been playing rugby since they were kids. That's a huge difference. They get things way quicker. They're able to pick things up really fast. They take direction really well. And so, yeah, look, I think it's just their ability to be able to maybe, have confidence in themselves. They know that they've been playing rugby for a very long time, whereas I suppose we were different back then. So, but it's great. It's brilliant that they can go and have a crack. But also, for me, it's their ability to fix things very quickly on the pitch. You don't really have to say much. You can just say, look, we've got to stay square here, or we've got to make sure that we can, work early so that we can get into line or get into position way quicker. And they're able to tell you as you're saying it. So they understand the game really, really well, which is great. It's great from a coaching point of view, for sure.
Were you guys confident that performance was coming? Like, had you felt it in the build-up to it? Because 57 points in any international game, but away from home against the side that's qualified for the World Cup, and with the group as you've outlined there, with the range of ages that they have and the so inexperienced. Like, did you think that it was? I mean, obviously you always hope it's there, but did you think it was coming?
Look, not 57 points is a really good total, I think, from any game, let alone international game. So. But I felt during the week that there was a really good buzz. Like, there was a really good clarity within the squad. I think training sessions have gone really well. I think, Greg has implemented a really good schedule in terms of, there's days set aside for learning, there are days set aside for contact, days set aside for fast. And when you have that clarity as a player, every day what you're turning up to, I think it makes a huge difference. And also the information that's coming on off the pitch, you're trying not to overload them, but they're constantly looking for it. So I kind of felt like, we would do well. I don't know if I definitely didn't expect 50-something points and 9 tries, but I'm delighted for them. I think it's testament to the hard work that they put in over the summer, testament to the staff, I suppose, that have put the hard work in with them post Six Nations. but not to be remiss of what happened last week. I think for us, it's about this week now. We've got to make sure that we can back that up, and that's going to be the real big challenge. They've not been in a position where you're backing up week after week, and been in an environment where you're constantly being tested. And I think that there's definitely a lot of fatigue this week post that game. Do we try and keep pushing through that, or do we lay off the brakes in terms of the information and make sure that they're mentally refreshed? That's probably the challenge for us as coaches, and for players to be able to recover well. I think that's a big challenge for them in understanding that. So yeah, look, I think that's what probably makes this environment and this two tests a really good, exciting project for us to be able to see where we are. I think at the end of it, I think doing something once and making history, making a win, in Japan has been brilliant, but to be able to back that up would be huge for this group.
Yeah, I can see why you need to get through this, and then at the end you can look back, and it feels a little bit like it's possible to recalibrate the ambitions of the group and you guys as coaches, because everybody put their reputation on the line given everything that's happened to get to this point, and you're not involved to just make up the numbers. So with the announcement of the new contracts that we spoke about last week, there's a really big opportunity to this is a refresh button. And I'm not saying that you're going to suddenly start competing with England and beating them, but suddenly you can start dreaming about that type of stuff.
Yeah, look, God, we beat Japan once and we're talking about beating England. No, look, I think it's really important that the energy within this group and this programme is that it's a really positive one now. And we spoke about it last week, that it's been a turbulent few years for the women's side winning the RFU. But I think that now it's time to firmly put that behind us and continue to look forward, but learn the lessons that we've had to learn. I think that's really important. We can't just say, look, here's a load of money and a load of contracts and things are going to be better. It can't be like that. We've spoken about that before. So yeah, look, I do feel like that this is a real, a new start and a new era for this group. And, we can't keep talking about rebuilding. We've got to talk about building towards something tangible. And, this two-test series is tangible towards the Six Nations and the ability to be able to finish in that top three, because that's going to be really important for us in relation to what's coming down the road in World Rugby terms. This Global XV programme, top three go into the top tier, and that then gives us, really competitive games against the likes of the Englands and the Frances, and that's where we want to be, and that's where we've got to strive for. Does it shorten the gap quickly? Absolutely not, but we've got to be very aware that as we continue to develop, we've got to continue to strive to be better in every facet of the game, whether it's on or off the pitch, so that we can continue to try and close that gap. But while we're trying to close that gap, they're trying to increase it. So we've just got to try and look after ourselves and try and measure ourselves against what we're trying to do every week and every month and every year, so that we can get better, and then hopefully we can catch them, but it's going to be quite a long process. I think we've got to be patient.
No, that's all fair enough. It's just that it's good to get excited, because it gets people, the bandwagon in Ireland is our favourite thing, and you guys have it rolling, so let's keep it rolling. I have one last question for you. We've got Sene Nwupo on the show tomorrow. She's obviously announced her official retirement. Just how good a player was she to play with?
Oh, look, incredible. I had a really good chat with her over the Six Nations when she came back into camp. And then obviously was speaking to her last week before she announced her retirement. And yeah, look, she's just, her knowledge of the game, Sene's knowledge of the game was unbelievable. Her ability to help others, I think that was huge. We can all kind of get selfish in our ways in terms of trying to make teams and make squads, but Sene was really good to try and impart her knowledge and wisdom on other players. And it was brilliant. As I said to her, we made memories together that we'll have together forever, in terms of, winning Six Nations in 2015 and what came after that. And, we'll be able to cherish them forever. But I don't think we can, her influence both on and off the pitch will be something like that lasts forever, and that's her legacy, which is brilliant. And as I said to her, we're getting old together. We can cherish those memories. But yeah, look, she was an incredible player, and I think it's the younger kids now that are coming up that will reap that reward for how good Sene was on and off the pitch.
Yeah, for sure. Niamh, good stuff. Enjoy the rest of the week in Japan. Best of luck next weekend. Thanks a million.
Thanks a million. Thanks, guys.